Welcome back, dear students, to the next session of Shares and Dividends, exercise 3B. Hello, dear students. So let us continue with our next problem on exercise 3B. So question says, a lady holds 1800 rupees 100 shares of a company. That means this is my number of shares, this is my nominal value, and 15% is the rate of dividend. So you need to calculate annual dividend. Okay, so the first part is very simple. So what is given is, so these three things have been given, and first you need to calculate is annual income, and you can easily calculate your annual income using this. So we have been given number of shares, we have been given rate of dividend, and face value is also given. So if you put the values, so you'll get your annual income to be this much. Okay, so annual income or annual dividend both means the same. Okay, so the first part is done. Let's see the next part. So question says, if she had bought these shares at 40% premium, okay, so what is the return she gets as percent on her investment? So what is the return she gets as percent means you need to find rate of return. Okay, so you need to give your answer is nearest integer. Fine. Okay, so since she has bought in 40% premium, then my market value is going to be 140. Yes, how to get 140 you will verify by yourself, because we have already seen such kind of problem where the premium is given in terms of percentage. Okay, so your market value is going to be rupees 140. Now since our aim is to find rate of return, my formula for calculating rate of return is this one. Okay, so let us see what are the things that we need to find to calculate rate of return. So we need to find what is the investment, okay, and we need to calculate what is annual income. We have already found it our annual income, but we don't know what is the investment, so we'll calculate what is our investment. Now to calculate investment we have this formula, right? So we have number of shares given, yes, which is 1800, and what is the market value of one share? It is rupees 140. So if I put the values of number of shares and market value, then it will be equals to this much. Okay, that is 2,52,000 will be my money invested. Now let us put the value of annual income, investment, and let us find the rate of. Okay, so my rate of return is turned out to be 10.7%. okay, so you'll calculate this value by yourself. Now the question is saying give your answer to the nearest integer. Now the nearest integer to 10.7 will be either 10 or 11, and obviously the nearest one is 11, so that's why my answer is going to be 11%. So pause the video to note down. So when he sells one share, he is earning rupees 21, right? Okay, but there are how many shares? There are 360 shares, so that's why the amount received by selling all the shares will be 21 into 360, which is 7,560. so this is the sale process. Okay, now let us go to the second transaction. So in the second transaction we need to find again annual income. Now to find annual income we need number of shares, which is not given here, rate of dividend, which is given, and the nominal value, which is also given to us. Now we need to find the number of shares. So number of shares is obtained by sale process by market value. Yes, we have seen this kind of problem in earlier problems. So what is sale process? This is 7,560, and what is market value? It is 3.50. so when you simplify this you'll get 2,160. so the number of shares in the second transaction is going to be this much, right? Okay, so annual income is, again as I said, number of shares into rate of dividend into nominal value, which turns out to be rupees 486. Now the question is asking find the annual change in his income, so we'll find the difference between these two annual incomes. So the change in annual income turns out to be rupees 54. So my answer is rupees 54. So pause the video to note down. Now the next sum is also similar to the earlier problem, so you will try this by yourself. Okay, let's have a look at this. So two brothers A and B invest rupees 16,000 each in buying shares of two companies. A buys 3% 100 rupees shares at 80. Okay, let's try to understand this. The first one is very easy. So both A and B are investing rupees 16,000. So for both of them, investment is rupees 16,000. So for A buys 3% 100 rupee shares. So that means rate of dividend is 3% and 100 rupee shares means nominal value is rupees 100. And he buys at 80. So that's why my my market value is going to be rupees 80, right? Okay, so similarly B buys 10 rupees shares at par. At par means both nominal value and market value are going to be same. Okay, so we have for A investment is this much, for B for A rate of dividend is given to be 3%, nominal value is given to be 100 rupees and market value is given to be 80. Okay, now for B, what is given? For B, investment is this much. Yes. Okay, so since the question is asking rate of dividend for B, I am going to consider this to be X%, and this is the nominal value is 10 rupee. Okay, so since this is at par, so that's why my market value will also be rupees 10. Okay, now question says they have received equal dividend. So since they have received equal dividend, we will try to calculate the dividend in each case. Now, to calculate dividend, that is annual income, the formula says number of shares into rate of dividend into nominal value. Now for the first case, if I want to calculate the dividend, we don't have number of shares. So first what we do is we will calculate number of shares. Okay, so number of shares will be investment by market value. This is the formula. So investment is 16,000 and what is MV? MV is 80. So number of shares for A is rupees 2. Number of shares is 200. So that's why my dividend is going to be number of shares into rate of dividend into nominal value, which turns out to be 600. So for A, dividend is rupees 600. Now similarly, we are going to calculate dividend for B. Okay, so number of shares, again it is investment by MV, so investment is 16,000 and MV is rupees 10, so this is 1600 number of shares. So that's why my dividend will be 1600 into rate of dividend, that is X% into nominal value, which is 10. So when you simplify this, you will get rupees 160x. Now question says both of them received equal dividend, so that's why this dividend and this dividend both has to be same. So according to question, 160x must be equals to 600. So we'll find the value of x from here, which turns out to be 3.75. and what is x? X is rate of dividend for B, and the question is asking find the rate of dividend received by B. So that's why the rate of dividend received by B will be 3.75%. So pause the video to note down. Okay, the last one is again very easy. So if you have understood everything, you will definitely be able to do this sum. Okay, so with this we'll close the exercise. Thank you very much. Okay, so the next question is question 12. A man invests rupees 11,200 in a company. So investment is given to be this much, paying 6% per annum. That is, this is rate of dividend when it's 100 rupees shares. That means this is my nominal value, can be bought for rupees 140. So 140 is my market value. So whatever is given, I am just noting them down. Now question says calculate the annual dividend. Annual dividend means annual income, and to calculate annual income, the formula available is this one. Yes, so let us check whether everything is there or not. So we have face value of one share. Yes, so it is already given. Rate of dividend, okay, so this is also there, but we don't have number of shares. So we'll calculate number of shares. Now to calculate number of shares, we have got this formula available. Okay, now let's check whether we have both the things available with us. So we have got investment. Yes, we have investment. What is the market value? That is also there. Okay, so let us put the value of investment. So we are going to divide investment by market value. So when I divide investment by market value, I'll get 80. So that's why my number of shares will be 80. So here, instead of number of shares, I'm going to put 80. Rate of dividend is 60%, sorry 6%, and face value is rupees 100. So if I do that and simplify, put the value of this percentage to be by 100, then my answer is going to be 480. So pause the video to note down. Okay, let's see this question. So there's a person by name Mr. Sharma has 60 shares of nominal value rupees 100. Okay, and he sells them when they are at a premium of 60%. Okay, hope you understood the thing. Now next what he does is he invests the proceeds. Now proceeds means the amount received by selling the shares. Okay, so proceed means the amount by selling the whole share. Fine. So he invests the amount after selling everything in shares of nominal value rupees 50, quoted at 4% discount, and paying 18% dividend annually. So basically what is happening here, Mr. Sharma is undergoing two transactions. Okay, in the first transaction what is happening, number of shares is given to 60. Okay, nominal value is given to be 100 and sells them at a premium of 60%. That means my market value is going to be rupees 160. Okay, so this is my first transaction. Now in the second transaction, whatever amount he receives by selling the earlier shares, okay, then in transaction 2, what is the nominal value? It is given to be rupees 50 and it is being sold. That is, my market value is going to be at a discount of 4%. Okay, so that's why my market value is going to be 50 minus, since this is discount, so that's why there is minus 4% of nominal value, that is 50, so it's going to be rupees 48. So my market value for the next transaction is 48 and rate of dividend is given to be 18%. Now question is asking find the sale proceeds. That means what is the amount which is received by selling the earlier shares. Okay, now his sale proceed is what? It is amount received by selling all his shares. Now when he sells one share, the amount received will be 160. Yes, because the market value is 160, right? So by selling one share he'll get 160, but he has got how many shares? He has got 60, so that's why how much amount will be gained? It will be 60 into 160. Okay, so that will give me the amount received by selling all the shares, which is going to be rupees 96,000. So 9600. So this is my sale proceed. Now number 2 is number of shares he buys. Okay, so let's see what is the number of shares he buys. Okay, now since they are asking us what is the number of shares he buys, then obviously it has to be the second transaction, because the number of transaction in first is already mentioned. So that's why my number of shares is asked for transaction 2. Okay, so the amount received is this much. Yes, okay, so my market value, okay, in the next case my market value is rupees 48. Okay, so in this rupees 48 the share is being sold in the market, right? And he has already invested this much amount, he has already received this much amount by selling all the shares, right? So that's why my number of shares will be nothing but amount received divided by the market value. Okay, so let me repeat once again. My number of shares purchased will be the amount received divided by the market value. Okay, which will give me rupees, or not rupees, this is number of shares, which turns out to be 200. Okay, now we'll see what is the annual dividend, that is annual income from the shares. From the shares means from the second one, okay, from the second transaction. So annual income is calculated using this formula. So do we have number of shares for second transaction? Yes, which is 200. Okay, into rate of dividend. So do we have rate of dividend? Yes, this is also there. And into nominal value or face value. So do we have nominal value? Yes, we have nominal value. It's also. So we have number of shares is 200, rate of dividend 18%, nominal value is rupees 50. Put the value of percentage to be 1 by 100. You'll get your answer to be 1800. Okay, so this will be your answer. So pause the video to note down. Okay, so next question says, a company with 10,000 shares of nominal value rupees 100 declares annual dividend of 8% to shareholders. So what are the things given? Number of shares, nominal value, and rate of dividend is given. Okay, so you need to calculate the amount of dividend paid by the company. That means what is the annual income you need to calculate. Okay, so this is our first part. Second part says, Ramesh had bought 90 shares of the company at rupees 150 per share. Okay, so you need to calculate the dividend, that is amount, annual income he receives, and the percentage of return on his investment. So in the first transaction, we have number of shares given, nominal value given, and rate of dividend is given. Okay. Now in the second transaction, that is Ramesh has bought 90 shares. So that's why my number of shares will be 90. And here my market value is going to be rupees 150 because Ramesh had bought from the company at this much. So this is your market value. Okay. So in the first case, they are asking us to find dividend. So dividend is going to be rupees 80,000. How? You will verify by yourself because we have got all the data. Okay, so use the formula of calculating dividend, that is annual income. You will get 80,000. Okay, in the second part, your number of shares is 90. Okay. Okay, so my number of shares is 90 and my market value is 150 in the second transaction. So what we need to do is we need to calculate the dividend he receives. So dividend he receives means the annual income. So this can be calculated using the formula of annual income, which contains number of shares. So do we have number of shares? Yes. Into rate of dividend. Do we have rate of dividend? Yes, we have. Do we have nominal value? Yes, we have nominal value itself. Okay, so your dividend will be equals to, okay, dividend will be equals to this much. So you will verify that. Okay, now the next part is you need to calculate the percentage of return, that is rate of return, and we know that rate of return is calculated using this formula. So let us see what are the things which are there in this. So we have got annual income, which we calculated just now. We need to calculate investment. Now investment is calculated using this, right? So investment is equal to number of shares, which is 90, into market value of one share, which is 150. So which is equals to 13,500. Okay, so my annual income is rupees 720. So you will write how you have got 720. Okay, so it will be 90 into 8% into 100. It will be 720. Similarly, you will also find the same way here. Okay, now rate of return is going to be, if you put the value of annual income to be this much and investment to be 13,500, then your answer will be 5.33%. Okay, so pause the video to note down. Now the next sum, as a question 15, you will try by yourself. Okay, so you will be able to do this sum if we see next question, that is this one. Now let us see what is happening here. So a man has a choice to invest rupees 100 shares of two firms at rupees 120 or at 132. Okay, so what is happening is a man has got two choices of investing in rupees 100 shares. Okay, so if the nominal value is going to be rupees 100, then he has got two choices to spend his money. So the two firms at this much, 120 is the market value in first and in another market value is going to be 132. Now the first firm pays dividend of 5%, okay, and the second firm pays dividend of 6%. Okay, so basically there are two firms, so let us note down the data given for the two firms. Okay, so in the first firm, what is given? Nominal value is 100, it is said here, and market value is rupees 120. Okay, rate of dividend, this means rate of dividend is given to be 5%. Okay, now we'll see this next in the next part, so we'll avoid this for now. So we have been given these three in the beginning. Okay, now question says find which company is giving a better return. Okay, so this is firm 1, we have got similarly for firm 2. So for firm 2, these are the things which are given. Now let us find the first case, that is which company is giving a better return. Okay, let us see what is happening in the first case. So we need to find which company is giving a better return. So in the first firm, income on one share. Okay, each share means one share, so number of shares is 1. Okay, so that's why I'm going to find the annual income for one share. So it's going to be number of shares into rate of dividend into nominal value, right? So what is number of share here? Each share means number of share is 1. Okay, and what is rate of dividend for first firm? It is 5%, and what is nominal value? It is rupees 100. So it will be 1 into 5% into 100. Okay, so which will be equals to rupees 5. So that means on 150, okay, so I'm sorry, on 120 market value, your income is how much? Rupees 5. Okay, so income on 120 is 5. Okay, so let us find what will be the income on rupee 1. So the income on rupee 1 will be obviously 5 by 120, which is 0.042 if you convert into decimal. Okay, so this is how we have to compare for the better return. Okay, so we always need to find the income on rupee 1. Is that clear? Because here they have talked about for 120, here they are talking about for 130. So both are different amounts, so that's why I am going to calculate the income on the same amount, that is rupee 1. Okay, so from the first firm, my income for rupee 1 is rupees 0.042. Now similarly, let's check for firm 2, what is the income on each share. So number of shares is 1 here. Okay, rate of dividend is 6%, and what is my nominal value? It is rupees 100. So that's why it's equals to rupees 6. That means when you sell the share for rupees 132, you'll have income of rupees 6. Okay, so that's why income on rupees 132 is rupees 6. But as I said, to compare, we have to find income on rupee 1. So that's why income on rupee 1 is going to be 6 by 132, yes, which is 0.045. Now we'll compare these two. Now which one is giving me more income? So if I compare these two, obviously the second firm is giving me more income for rupee 1. So that's why second firm or second is giving me the better return. So it is clear from the above that second is better. Okay, now next is, if the man invests this much on each firm, so that's why investment for both the firm is rupees 26,400. How much will be the difference between the annual returns? Okay, so what we need to find is, we have to find the dividends from firm 1 and firm 2. Okay, fine, and we need to find the difference between them. So for firm 1, income on investment. Okay, so what is the investment? Investment is this much. Okay, so if he invests this rupee 1, he is having this much of income. Yes, but instead of investing rupee 1, he is investing rupees 26,400. So that's why income on rupees 26,400 is going to be 5 by 20 into 26,400. This is from unitary method. So it will be 5 by 120 into 26,000, which turns out to be 1100. Now similarly for the firm 2, income on rupee 1 is this much. So that's why income on rupees this much is going to be 6 by 132 into this much, yes, which turns out to be rupees 1200. Okay, so as I said earlier, the second firm is giving me the better return. right? So clearly it is seen that second one is giving me better return. So what is the difference between the return? It is 1200 minus 1100, which turns out to be 100. Okay, so pause the video to note down. Okay, let's have a look at this question. So question says a man bought 360 10 rupees shares of a company paying 12% per annum. Okay, so number of shares is going to be 360. 10 rupees shares means nominal value is rupees 10, and rate of dividend is given to be 12%. Now he sold the shares when their price rose to rupees 21. That means rupees 21 is my market value, because the shares are sold at this amount. Okay, so this becomes my market value per share. Okay, so after selling, he invested the proceeds, so the amount which he gained after selling all the shares, so he invested the proceeds in 5 rupees shares, paying 4.5% per annum at rupees 3.5 per share. So basically there are two transactions happening, two transactions. So the first transaction details are given here: number of shares, nominal value rupees 10, rate of dividend, ROD means rate of dividend, to be 12%, and my market value is rupees 21. Okay, now from transaction 2, what we see is 5 rupee shares means nominal value is rupees 5, 4.5% per annum means rate of dividend is 4.5%, and it is being sold at rupees 3.5 per share. That means my market value is rupees 3.50. Okay, now the question is asking find the annual change in his income. So basically what the question is asking is, first find your transaction annual income for transaction 1 and find annual income for transaction 2. Okay, and we need to find the annual change in the income. Okay, so let's begin. So for the first transaction, my annual income is given by number of shares into rate of dividend into nominal value. So rate of number of shares is 360, rate is 12%, and my nominal value is rupees 10. Okay, so when you simplify this, your annual income for the first transaction is turned out to be rupees 432. Okay, and since they are talking about the proceeds, so how much ever is the proceed, we'll calculate how much is the proceed. Okay, so sale proceed is what? Sale proceed is amount received by selling all his